we have done it again. We have won another football match. 3 in a row. Positive vibes. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know if it's real, but we have to go game by game. Let's get straight into this because we are now 6th in the Premier League. Let's welcome in Ryon Scott-Douglas, Angelina Kelly, and of course, Crookie. What's happening here? Because that's, like we can think of ways. Oh, let's break this down. Let's ask this question. No, what's happening here? Is something happening? Is something changing? Have Man United turned a corner?
Whisper it quietly.
No.
Whisper it quietly. But I think you've got to say yes.
We've turned a corner.
3 wins in a row. 4-2 probably flatters Brighton. For the first hour, we absolutely blew them away. And I guess if there's a negative, it'd be the lack of squad depth when he started to make substitutions. That's when Brighton got a foothold in the game. Yeah. But Cunha was outstanding again. Brian and Mbeumo terrific as well. His combination play with Amad Diallo now is something to behold. Even Benjamin Šeško. He may not have scored a goal, but I think he was a real focal point. Obviously,
made a goal as well.
Played a part in one of the goals. The keeper, could he have done better with a free kick? Probably, but do you know what? The cross comes into the penalty area and he catches the ball. He doesn't drop the ball anymore.
Celebrating
again. Amazing. And that's given confidence to the defence. I think Ruben Amorim now looks less harassed on the touchline. The fans are invested. They've got Forest away next. Then they've got Tottenham at home. Tell you what, that guy might be getting a haircut.
Oh, gosh, yeah, Frank. Well, no, we've got Tottenham away.
Tottenham away.
Which is hard. But I know some people are saying, Frank, get the Clippers out.
Yep.
That's what's going on, Ange. I mean, I don't want to be the one on the table to be like, should we just
drink it in, Flex?
Is that what it is?
Do you know the best thing is? We're out of the League Cup. We don't need to worry about Europe. We win a game on a Saturday.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry for a week.
Yeah, we have the whole
We can just enjoy it.
Yeah. I would like the positivity to match your negativity. Just saying, because you two in particular were losing your heads. Me and Ryan had to have a bit of a word with you both.
Calm you down a bit. That's all we were trying to do.
If you would like to apologise.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, it was
psychology.
It was reverse. I said that. I've been slated for that already.
Yeah.
Look, what I will say is, because I'm definitely not that guy that wants to be wrong and strong and through gritted teeth, well, I still want him out. I'm not on any of that. I want Man United to win football games, and we all want Amorim to prove us wrong. I have got a little bit of resistance though when people are suggesting, not necessarily you, but when people have been suggesting that there was no cause for concern. Get out of here. Let's not do that. Let's not start going. And if anyone was questioning this, no. Our standards were on the floor. We were breaking records left, right, and centre. You got Gary Neville, one of the most decorated Man United players ever. Even when he saw the team sheet at Liverpool, thought, I don't know about this. Or if he doesn't win the next game where he's in trouble, big questions need to be asked. We can't act like last season didn't happen. That doesn't mean that we're not going in the right direction. That doesn't mean there's not positivity now. But as quickly as we've built up those 3 games, it's as quickly as it can be knocked down again. But I do agree, Crookie, we have to enjoy it because for the first time, I'll be honest, I was confident we'd beat Brighton before the game. Never felt like that in ages. Driving up, Ryan.
I was.
Would you not? No. I actually was.
I was.
After the Liverpool game, Ryan, I actually felt for once, for a long time, no, I think they're going to take that Liverpool energy. And it might be tough. I predicted it'd be 2-1. I didn't think we'd win as easy as we did. But you just get a feeling of optimism by what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said to you last week, it just feels like if you had to pick one game in the whole kind of calendar to build momentum off, you would say beat Liverpool at Anfield. And so on the back of that, I just thought there's no way we're going to lose momentum like that. I really didn't. And me and Ange went 3-2. So we were just off. We were just off with a 4-2 with Brian and Mbeumo. But there was just loads of positives, loads more positives. And it's a feel-good factor. To be 2-0 up at half-time. It just felt, I haven't felt that comfortable in ages. So I do, like I said last week, I do get when people were being negative because we have the pleasure, sometimes displeasure, of having to react every single week. And all we're doing really is, with what's put in front of us, well, it's the worst record since this. We haven't got back-to-back wins. It was a really bad time. And the system, there was no evidence of it working. At least now, with these 3 wins, are Man United back? I don't think they're back. But we're in a good reign of form. And we now, like I said last week again, we have a reference point. We have a point where we can go, these 3 games, this is when it worked. And by the way, like Crookie said, I think we blew Brighton out the water. Those 2 goals that we conceded, the keeper can probably do better on one of them. Yeah. And getting beaten on the near post from a corner as well, it's like, these little things are sloppy.
Fault.
Yeah, well, yeah. But But you can forgive those because we got 3 points, and that's what winning does. If we lose that game or draw that game, all of a sudden Xerxes should pick up his man, keeper should do better. You get those extra goals, quality from Mbeumo, quality from Cunha. All of a sudden, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Do
Do you know what?
I mean?
Ryan's right that the win at Anfield might be seen as the sort of turning point, the sliding doors moment. But in many ways, I think the weekend win was even more important because there've been so many false dawns since Fergie left, and certainly in recent seasons, where you think a corner has been turned, there's been a good performance here, a good performance there, and then they failed to build on it.
Yeah.
The fact they built on it against a team who, let's be honest, have pulled our pants down on more than one occasion in recent years, I think that's a massive statement.
Well, what's really interesting about this cluster of games before the next international break is that this is somewhat of a revenge tour, because you look at Liverpool, 9 years, you know what that is. You look at Brighton, I saw their social media accounts before posting Old Trafford memories and this, that and the other. We haven't beaten them in the last 6 times out of 7 before we just beat them. You look at Forest coming up now. When's the last time we had a good result against them, home or away?
Yeah.
Probably in the Cup, I think. I want to say Carabao Cup semi-final. I went to that. Casemiro scored. Maybe then. But in the league, can't remember when. Last year, Langer pulled our pants down, ran through the whole team.
Oh, yeah.
The year before that, we capitulated and lost as well. Spurs, talk about owing them one. We haven't beat them in about 4 games. Plus the European final.
Yeah.
So this is a cluster of teams that actually you can't fluke wins against. Not traditionally, but in recent history, they've been getting the better of us. We'll talk about Amorim in a little bit, Ange. But I wanted to speak about some of the individuals, some of the players. Because during this very, very bad run that we've had since Ruben's got here, of course, he's taken a lot of the flack, and it is right to talk about the manager and maybe some of the things he might change. But a lot of the flack was towards the players as well. They're not running hard enough. They're not winning duels. They're making mistakes. But individually now, they seem to be working harder. They seem to be more confident. They seem to be doing the basics right. Away from the tactics.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the goalkeeper has been so key in seeing Manchester United improve, because you've got to think, you don't look at him and think, oh my God, what is he going to do? He doesn't have that unpredictability of Andre Onana. He doesn't have that caginess of Altay Bayındır. So I think it's just like a natural flow of things, of your defenders will surely be feeling more comfortable, and then it kind of just works its way through the team. But yeah, I've been really impressed with everything. Amad Diallo and Bryan Mbeumo, we've already spoken about them dovetailing really nicely.
They're so good together.
A little bit concerned about what will happen when AFCON, comes around, because they will be gone. I'm not saying that Mazraoui's the answer, but he also will probably be gone.
Right hand side could hurt our eyes in January.
The right hand
Let's
side.
hope they get knocked out early doors.
Well, Onana's in goal, so for Cameroon. So
we should be all right. But yeah, they've been linking up really nicely. I think Bryan Mbeumo in general has been absolutely fantastic, and he seems so confident. He's slotted right into life at Manchester United, and I think alongside Bruno Fernandes, if he keeps up this form, he will be going down as one of the best signings post-Fergie from what I've seen so far, because I just think he's been absolutely brilliant. Matthias Cunha, you can tell, he's spoken about being a United fan, getting that goal at Old Trafford. I think he'll really push on, and, that will maybe light a fire under him.
It's been the only thing missing for him, hasn't it? Because his performances have been all right.
And the last 2 games have been 2 of his best performances. Like we say with Šeško, he's getting there. I don't think that people should put too much pressure on him. But I just think that front 3 clicking is one of the best front 3s in the Premier League. If they are all firing on all cylinders and they all get to the places that we think they can get to, that's an impressive front 3 in my opinion. And I just think, there was so much, a lot of fans laughing about the Rasmus Højlund situation and, he's gone to Napoli. Yeah, all right, he scored 4 goals. He's nearly halfway to the amount of goals that he scored last season. But the massive issue that we had, and we can talk about midfield, we can talk about goalkeepers, but the massive issue we had last season, we didn't score enough goals. You'd look at the team sheet and think, who can find the back of the net? Whereas now, you're looking at players on the bench like, a Mason Mount, for example. You're looking at your starting 11. You've got 3 players that are capable of scoring goals. More than 3. You've got Bruno, you've got Casemiro. This idea now that we actually have all of these options when it comes to scoring goals, we've not had that for a very, very long time. And the way things are going, you have to give props to the recruitment, because I do think that they've got it spot on with these players. And yes, they've cost a lot of money, but bringing players in that are already suited to the Premier League, minus Šeško, but bringing, Cunha and Mbeumo in that already know the script, of, being in the Premier League. I think it's been really important.
It's interesting you mentioned that. I was on with Steve Bruce on the White and Jordan show, and he talked about Manchester United's recruitment, and he said for the first time in a long time, they've actually got it right this summer.
They've had a great few weeks. I think Alex has just reminded me that they've won 5 out of the last 7. So there's certainly been an upturn in their performances. I do believe the 2 players in particular who've caught Mbeumo and Cunha, and they've absolutely hit the ground running. They've showed what they're all about, and they've given that real cutting edge at the top end of the pitch, which maybe for a while wasn't there. I have to say he's made a big call in the dressing room to get rid of big players with big reputations. So it reminds me a little bit of Arsenal, what Arteta did a few years ago, where he's cleared out the dressing room where people are looking from afar thinking, wow, that's a big call. So he's made some big managerial calls. I think we all of us, like him. We all want him to do well, because underneath it all is a decent man who's a very, very good coach. And all of this, is he going to change his tactics, and is he going to do this, and is he going to do that? Obviously not.
And you look at Manchester United's history in terms of some of the best windows we've ever had. Recruiting within the country works. You look at Cantona, you look at Rooney, and then you speculate in Berbatov and Tevez,
Van
Persie,
York Cole.
York Cole. You know what? The list could go on and on and on. Sheringham,
yeah.
It works.
We've done it the whole time.
Exactly. So you got, for me, Mbeumo, by the way, is signing of the summer.
Yeah.
It's a sign in the whole of the Premier League. I think it is, because you look at him being the star man for Brentford, having the season that he had last year, picking him up and then throwing him into Manchester United. It's the same league, so we expect the same from you. But how heavy does this shirt weigh on you? For him to thrive the way he's been thriving, bar 1 or 2 games, he's been so direct. He scored, four goals and 2 assists in his last 2 games, or something crazy like that. He's been unbelievable and so direct. And again, I've said this about some players, Manchester United DNA. In 2 different ways, the directness of Mbeumo and that kind of swagger that Cunha has, they really feel like they suit that shirt. I'm just honestly so happy to see him.
I think as well, we were getting so much stick from other clubs about, you're paying all this money for him. I'm sure that Spurs would, snap our hand off for Bryan Mbeumo. Even Liverpool, when you're looking at the lack of form of someone like Mo Salah, they're probably looking at someone like him and thinking, if only, I just think it was really rich that all these clubs were complaining. Even Manchester City, I think there's a lot of clubs in the Premier League that are looking at that thinking, you know what, I can understand why they've gone in with all that money. But I think great to hear from Steve Bruce and, being positive about Amorim. Crookie, how does it feel that Steve Bruce is back in Amorim?
Well, listen.
I thought he was going to say, how does it feel that Steve Bruce knows who you are?
You love Steve Bruce.
That's your guy, yeah.
And he's back in the guy that you were turning your nose up at a few weeks ago.
I tell you what, if you told an 11-year-old me that one day I'd be presenting a show with Steve Bruce,
exactly.
I wouldn't have believed you.
Pinch me moment.
Absolutely. But listen, he is back in Amorim. He didn't come out and say, this guy is definitely the right man for the job. But what he did say, and I think we all echo it, we like him.
Yeah.
We like him as a guy.
Yeah.
We like what he's trying to do. We like his philosophy.
Yeah.
We want him to do well.
100%.
I don't think me and Flex should be attacked
Oh, mate, I've
for
been
reacting to being dumped out the League
Let's
Cup by
get the world's
Grimsby.
know what I
smallest
mean?
violin
And being
out for
battered
the
in the
riot.
floor.
Ordered so far, we were supposed to be like, it's fine, everyone, it's fine.
No, I'm giving you
right
guys
to
stick.
be
crazy.
I'm giving you guys stick. I understand completely why your head's got a little bit scrambled, because I think we were all in that place of uncertainty, fear.
Even though it was 4 games in, boys,
But,
just reminding you that.
we're just
No,
but
more
this
than
is-
that.
But this
more
is
than
why
that.
we
'Cause
work.
the last season,
This is why we
yeah.
work, because we've got you
Remember
two
it
losing your
happened.
heads and us two reeling you
That's
back
true.
into
Yeah.
safety.
I will say this, though. What we were calling out for, because there seems to be not much talk of this, because
You
we've
weren't
won a
like
few
he
games.
needs to 100% be sacked
No,
tomorrow.
no.
But you were like, this isn't
I don't
good and
think
we
this
need
is going to go
something.
there.
Yeah.
We
But-
needed to see subtle changes. I think we have seen that. By
And
the
that's
way.
think we
exactly
have.
what I was going to say. Not a
Exactly.
lot of people are talking about, actually, that calling for Amorim to be adaptable and change things was one of the biggest things.
But I think the
And he
goalkeeper
has.
brought that in as
The
well.
goal-
with
the
these
goalkeeper
long
has.
long balls.
There's
But
no
even
coincidence that since he's come in, the results have started to come in. There is no coincidence. there.
Absolutely, right? But there is also a change from Amorim about his instruction to the team. Like, that has changed. He has made tactical changes. How we the decision to go long, which you could just choose to go long with Onana if you want.
Yeah.
We could have done that ages ago.
Except he couldn't kick.
Exactly. But he still can kick off both feet, but he just does silly things.
Or do any of the
But you
things
can
the
really
goalkeeper needs to
simplify it. Obviously, the keeper 100%. And I was worried about Lamens coming in from Royal Antwerp, a young kid, hadn't played this level. But my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a massive game changer. And of course, the recruitment, just by signing Cunha and Mbeumo and going from Rashford and Garnacho to those two within this system is a massive upgrade. But Amorim has been adaptable in terms of the what he's asking the players to do and how he's asking them to play.
Yeah.
He's not asking them to play out from the back anymore. He is bypassing midfield a lot. He is trying to get the ball as quickly as possible by using the direct route of Benjamin Sesko and then knockdowns in and around that zone to get those players involved. That wasn't happening before.
No, it wasn't. You're right.
It wasn't happening before. So he has tweaked things. And then on top of that, to Amorim's defence, which I will hold my hands up, he was talking a lot about, and I have seen this, that the individuals and the belief, like what is a bad culture of what we've got, and he kind of separates Cunha and Mbeumo from this. That when things are rubbish or things aren't going right, their heads drop, they make more mistakes, they don't believe in the system, they don't believe in themselves, they're not winning duels, they're not being intense in what they're doing. And now in the last 3 games, what we've seen from Sunderland to this game is actually that kind of being on the front foot, that I'm winning this duel, you're not getting past. I watched Matthias de Ligt follow Danny Welbeck into basically the Brighton box D. Like, I don't know if you saw that. He was following him right in, and we got undone by it a couple of times. And then after that, he's like, you're not getting past. Ahmad working his socks off, and Mbeumo, Cunha. You know what? Bruno is going to run around. So I just think that belief from the players.
And there's a lot to be said from writing your names in the history book of getting that win at Anfield. Like, former players will say there is nothing like that kind of feeling. So I think it's definitely played a role. And I think it's been really nice that these games have all been different tests. So you look at the way that we played against Liverpool, very, very different to the way that we play against Brighton. And there's a lot of talk about the possession and different things like that. You know, against Nottingham Forest, you know, we're going to have more possession because of the type of football that they play. And I just think all these different games are just really nice. Well, you don't like to be tested, but they're good tests because we're having to approach each game differently and we're actually succeeding at it.
And actually, we asked the question on the pod before the last game, will he make changes? Should he stick with the winning team?
Yeah. He's forced into a couple.
He was,
Maguire
but they were
was
the
out.
changes that I think he
But
would
they
have
were
made
the ones
anyway,
we wanted to
be
make.
honest. So that shows that he is willing to adapt. And you talk about players showing belief, by the way. The biggest example for me this season, other than Harry Maguire, and we talked about his redemption arc, Matthias de Ligt.
Yeah, man.
I think
Amazing.
it's probably been, outside of Mbeumo, our player of the season so far. And this is someone who's been maligned, not just at Manchester United, but actually at his previous
Across
club as
Europe,
well.
yeah.
And now he believes in himself. And I think that is the influence of the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo, just bringing that positivity that is enabling him to express himself and show the type of player I think we all believed he could have been several years ago.
Yeah.
100%.